UCLA traveling to Salt Lake City to play the Utes. Very excited for this matchup. Pac-12 showdown. Both teams coming in 3-0. What more could you ask for on Saturday? Now, before we dive in, I think the big elephant in the room, everyone's asking, is Cam Rising going to play? Still haven't heard anything on that. Looking through the news, everything. There was no reason to rush him back against Weber State, but I feel you got to get him in on this UCLA game. Not saying that Nate Johnson can't handle this game. Nate Johnson, 13 for 21 against Weber State, completions, 193 yards, one passing touchdown, one rushing touchdown, rushing for 71 yards. He looked good against Weber State. I just think you need that grit that Cam Rising can bring back. I think it's that little missing piece for Utah to just complete this Utah team. And I know that doesn't come as a surprise to any Utah fans. You know how good Cam Rising is. Over 3,000 yards last season. Utah's only averaging 159 passing yards this season. Under Cam last year, it was 249. They need the air attack against these Bruins. The big passing plays, get the crowd and the team amped up. Now on to how these two teams match up. First, taking a look at the Utes. These are team stats per game, right? One thing that stood out to me that the Utes have to improve on is this 36.67 on third down. You got to keep the offense on the field. You have to be extending these drives, showing dismal numbers on that in their last couple games. And also that passing, as I was saying, 159 passing yards per game. Got to get that up if we're going to see success against the Bruins. Now, on the flip side, the defense looking good, right? +1 turnover margin, which is great. Getting at least one turnover per game, and being stingy on the defense with the rush game. I'm loving it. 67 rush yards allowed per game, and 16.67 on third down. Getting off the field, giving your offense another chance. Now, on to UCLA and what they're kind of doing right now coming into this game. They're doing a little better. They're doing not even a little better, a lot better than the Utes. 52.717 on third down. They're extending those plays. 280 on the passing yards and 205 on the rushing yards. Finding success on the ground and in the air. Onto their defense. 0.5 in turnover margin. Again, just like the Utes, stingy on that rush, 59.5 rush yards allowed, and the defense, 39.39% getting off the field, right? Okay, now we'll look at some key players for UCLA. What weapons are they going to bring to Salt Lake that the Utes have to look out for, right? You got the true freshman, Dante Moore, 32 for 51 passing completion, 615 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, and Carson Steele, who's been great this season, 30 carries, 243 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now, you see the success that they've been having in the run game, but Utah's defense holding, I'll pull that back up, 67 rush yards allowed. Is UCLA going to be able to find success on the ground against this Utah team? And how is this freshman quarterback going to handle this hostile Utah crowd? I think that plays a really big factor as we dive into keys of the game. On paper, UCLA with the stats, I'm leaning towards them just stat-wise. We'll get into what my real prediction is, but I'm saying, are they going to have success on the ground against this Utah team? My keys for the game, okay, diving into it with Utah. Got to find ways to frustrate the quarterback. Got to find ways to use the crowd, make them a factor. I know they will be in Salt Lake. They always get up for these games. And you've got to find more success in the air, whether that's Cam Rising coming back or whether that's finding Nate Johnson to Money Parks, just getting that pass game going. As for UCLA, you got to figure out ways to get yards off the stingy Utah defense. Can't turn the ball over here in Salt Lake. And you got to get the crowd out of the game. And that's how they'll find success. Now, as for my prediction, I put up Kyle Magic, right? 77-14 as the home favorite, 86-25 all time at home. Like I said, on paper, it looks like it's the Bruins, but this is a revenge game from last year. These two teams squaring off for Utah. I got to take Utah -5 at home. It is hard to bet against the Utes when they are at home. I think there's so many factors that'll play with Cam coming back, but I got Utah in this one covering -5. As for the over-under, I'm going over. I'm seeing it being a high-scoring game, exciting, and just a great game all around. And so that wraps it up for now. I really appreciate you watching these videos. Leave anything in the comments that you feel I missed, or how you see this game going. And as always, like and subscribe means a lot. Thanks so much.